Hey, Anthony,
Yeah,
what are your thoughts on the ICE raid of that apartment building in Chicago?
I think the building raid is the start of the Trump administration and ICE really dropping the pretense of ICE just being this lawfully abiding organization that's here to deport violent criminals, although they certainly still claim that's what they were doing. And it's the start of us seeing ICE being used as a organization to instill fear in the American populace.
What exactly happened in the raid?
Well, the raid occurred on Tuesday, October 30th, and it happened in a apartment building in Chicago. By all eyewitness accounts, it was basically a full military operation taking place on American soil against American citizens and others, right? ICE reportedly showed up in military helicopters, Black Hawk helicopters, rappelled down from the roof like this was some organization in a hostile country. And then they raided every apartment in the apartment building, kicking down doors, breaking windows, trashing rooms, and detaining pretty much everyone within the building, including children and U.S. citizens, who they reportedly detained on the floor, handcuffed, and there's even reports that they zip tied the children together, many of whom were separated from their parents, and many of whom were lawful U.S. citizens, even if some of their parents were not, right? They also, according to reports, prevented recording and other activities that have been deemed lawful by previous Supreme Court rulings, and made multiple racist and sexist remarks towards the detainees, telling them to do things like, go back home to their country and other things like that, even if they were here lawfully. And if you listen to what I said about the situation, you would think the whole thing was very above ground. They were claiming that the apartment building was a hot spot for, ISIS's favorite scapegoat, which is the Tren de Aragua Venezuelan game. They claimed that they arrested at least 37 undocumented immigrants, many of whom were Venezuelan, and at least 6 with criminal background histories. And notably, they refused to say if they had a warrant and said that because Tren de Aragua had been deemed a quote terrorist organization, that they can't provide information about things like warrants without quote putting people at risk, which I think is really important to pay attention to because we're seeing in real time now the Trump administration using this designation of terrorist organization to unlawfully detain American citizens and legal residents without things like warrants, which they should be required to have, right? We've seen them saying that they're going to label Antifa a terrorist organization, and they're really expanding that definition to be basically anybody who opposes the Trump administration, such as leftist activists, as terrorist organizations. And now they're saying that, they don't need warrants, they're not going to disclose information about the raids. And so they're really trying to create this environment of fear and uncertainty where you don't know if ICE is going to appear in your living location in the middle of the night, warrantless, and you get detained and arrested without any type of due process, which is very similar to how the SS operated in Germany, right? One of the big tactics of the Nazi administration was using disappearance and fear of the unknown to intimidate the German population into compliance. Very effectively, I might add. And we're seeing ICE start to use those same tactics in raids like this. And, as I was saying, so ICE has claimed all these things. I don't think that they're a viable source at this point. Who knows if the people arrested were indeed undocumented, if they were indeed criminals. The very fact that ICE is refusing to play by the law makes all of their claims basically unsupportable. And even if the apartment building did have a lot of undocumented immigrants, the way that the building was raided is completely inhumane. The way the children were treated is completely inhumane. And the way American citizens who lived in the building were treated is completely unhumane. And none of that is justified by the arrest of a couple of undocumented immigrants like ICE tries to claim. Rights don't disappear in this country just because you live next door to somebody who may be a criminal. And we can't let ICE continue to use that narrative to try and get away with the things that they're doing.